For me, the most important thing is to connect in some deep way with my instrument at the very beginning of the day. So I find that I'm freshest at the beginning of the day. The pathways are more open at the beginning of the day, and that presents an opportunity for me to just tap into flow on the instrument. And my way of accessing flow comes from basically years and years of making mistakes in terms of how I approach the guitar and noticing certain things. And I had a horrible problem with perfectionism and finding the right, absolute, correct thing to do at every moment. And I was very difficult on myself. I had a lot of self-hatred that came out of that because I never achieved that perfect moment. So I realized that it wasn't practical to try to pursue that at the beginning of the day. Now my practice has a lot to do with free improvisation and finding flow and finding myself through mainly the sound on the instrument. Especially on guitar, it's easy to neglect sound because you're pressing your finger down on the string, on the fretboard. You're plucking the finger with your fingers or sometimes with a pick. And it's easy to forget that music is expression and that it's not just about execution. And so in any way, I'm trying to, at the beginning of the day, tap into that expressive part of playing. The part that has to do with the how as opposed to the what. How is he playing this as opposed to what specific pitches is he playing? Is it soft? Is it evocative? What's the human sound behind that? What's the human emotion behind that? Yeah. Two artists are of great interest to me lately. One is the Brazilian singer João Gilberto, and there's something about his delivery, something about the way he shapes an experience, and also placement, where he places things, that is really interesting to me. I feel like he's sort of the Brazilian Miles Davis, in that he can do the most subtle thing, and it's a huge thing. It becomes a huge thing. It has so much power, even though it's a very small thing he does. And the only conclusion that I'm left with is that it has to be something that comes from a very deep place within him. So João Gilberto is one, and I'm re-experiencing this recording that Klaus Ogerman did all the writing for, Amoroso, and it's been on my playlist now for quite a while. I just find it so deeply affecting. It really just touches me. And another artist that is intriguing to me is Glenn Gould, and I think it's because I don't want to compare myself to Glenn Gould, but I think there's similar issues that he had to grapple with that sort of align with me. I think he has issues of stifling perfectionism, and in fact has written about this in a autobiography. And he also has this quality in his playing that to me is otherworldly. He finds in the music of Bach, or even in some 20th century music that he plays, this feeling of something that's occurring that doesn't feel like it's on the planet. There's something very special he does when he presses that mechanism on the piano, and that intrigues me, especially with pianists, because it is a mechanism. Yet, a powerful artist can impart something that is way beneath the surface of that mechanism. The spirit, reveals something unique. The first time I played at the Newport Jazz Festival was maybe, this is going to date me, I think it's about 20 years ago. and it was with Cleo Lane and John Dankworth. Yeah, and it was on the main stage with the water in the background. And it sort of reminded me of, on the West Coast, the Monterey Jazz Festival, because it had the water, and it also has a certain looseness about it. You see the vendors around. It's kind of has a hippie vibe. There's a little bit of a retro thing happening here. And I just like the loose feeling of it. And each of the tents and each of the stages have a certain informality about it that I find as an artist really inviting. I've played at Carnegie Hall. I've played at a lot of prestigious venues, but there's something about the informality of that setting that I think engenders a different thing for a musician. And I just love the feeling of it. Hi, I'm Larry Koonse. For more videos, go to jazztimes.com.